So first, before I explain how to cleanse, first let's determine the difference between dead water and alive water. So many are familiar with, and I'm familiar with dead food versus alive food. And let me just go over that. So the most alive a fruit is right when you pick it. Once it's picked at the right time, and you pick it, that's when it's most alive. The longer you wait, the less alive it is. So that's one way of seeing, like, on food, like what's more alive, right? Then the other one is that the closer the food that you're eating, the closer to its original source, the more alive it is. The further and further away it moves away from its original source, the more dead it is, right? So let's say packaged goods, foods that have a very long shelf life, that has been processed. The more it's been processed, the more it's dead. So same thing with supplements. The more the supplements, the vitamins and minerals that's in your food that has been processed, so many of the fortified vitamins and minerals that are in food is basically coming from vitamins and minerals that has been processed. So the further away, it's considered more of a dead food. So there's a way of testing how food is alive versus dead. They do, I think it's called Kirlian photography. Basically, so they take a picture of the food, and there's this shining aura around it, versus a dead food doesn't have that. So with food, we know there is something called, alive versus dead. So further away, the more processes, the less alive it is, or they call it dead food, versus when it's closer to its original source, it's alive. In the yogic sciences, they say that the best time to eat something is within an hour and a half of preparing. So if you're cooking food, of course, if you're not overcooking it, cooking it the right way, then it's best to eat it within an hour and a half of preparing it. And the reason for that is because it has the most amount of prana. The most amount of life force energy is in there. After an hour and a half, that life force of energy starts to dissipate quickly. So in the yogic sciences, that's, if you're looking for superior health and longevity, they suggest eat your food within an hour and a half of preparing. And definitely don't eat stale food, according to that, their system, or leftover food. Again, this is if you're looking for vibrant longevity and superior health. So and that's the reason, because the further, once you start cooking it, then it starts losing its vital energy. So with water, how do we know the difference between alive and what's dead water? Okay, so the way to do that is I have it here where I say what's the best type of water to drink and bathe in. It's you want water that is structured, that's energized, and has supportive energy. So, supportive information. So the structure. Let's talk about the structure first. So we're going to talk about the structure not in water, and then you're going to see clearly how it fits also with water. So according to Dr. Cam Ewan, who's the founder of the Ewan Method, he says that the structure of the body is far more important than the chemical makeup of the body. So proper structural alignment is more important than chemical balance. If you don't have the proper structural alignment, then it's going to be very difficult for a person to heal or to stay healthy or to be vibrant than if a person, even though they're trying to balance out the chemistry inside their body. That means the hormones, etc. And if your structure is not properly aligned, then it's going to be very difficult to balance out the chemistry inside the body, the biochemistry. In Qigong science, they put a very high stress on making sure that the structure is properly aligned, especially for healing and superior health, because when the body has the right type of structure, what happens is everything, the qi can flow optimally. When the qi flows optimally, then qi has information in there, and then that heals and rejuvenates. So structure is also a very important part, even higher than taking herbs. Because, for example, if you're taking herbs for your kidney, for example, but your lower spine and your hips are out of alignment, it's going to be very, very difficult to heal your kidneys or to take it to the next level. When you bring your lower spine into alignment and your hips into alignment, then it will be a lot easier for your kidneys to heal. So just taking kidney herbs to work on the kidney qi or the kidneys themselves without aligning the structure is going to be very difficult. So the priority would be to align the structure. This is in Qigong therapy and Qigong science. Now, in the yogic sciences, it's the same. Proper alignment of the structure will allow you to connect properly to the energies of the cosmos and absorb those energies and allow it to flow also optimally inside your body. So if your structure is not the right way, then it's going to be very, very difficult. So one of the key things, the difference between Qigong science and yogic sciences and regular exercises, is that in Qigong science and in yogic science, when they look at getting the body fit, they look at first how to get the structure correctly or optimally to allow the energies to flow through your body. So without this in each system, like Qigong has its own system of how the body should be structured, yoga has its own system of how the body should be structured, but they're all based on how the energy flows into your body. But when you go to in the fitness industry or the physiotherapy industry, and even in the chiropractic industry, it's not necessarily working on proper alignment for getting the energies to align, or to unlock the energies, unblock the energies, or for the energies to flow optimally inside your body. And so they don't look at that specifically. And in many cases, what I've found is that having the proper alignment, let's say in physiotherapy or in the fitness industry for optimal health and longevity, versus having the alignment from the Qigong perspective, they usually contradict each other. And it makes sense, because if you're not aligning your structure according to the Qigong way, then you will need to align it the other way, because otherwise your body will be unstable. But if you're taking it from the Qigong perspective and have that knowledge, then you're using everything within the Qigong system. Now, this is specifically in Qigong therapy and comprehensive Qigong. Then when you go into that alignment, even though in the physiotherapy schools it may look like this is incorrect and the person will be unstable, but when you do it with the knowledge and the skill from the Qigong therapy perspective, then they won't be. But if If you don't have that, then yes, do it the physiotherapy way. But even when you're looking at it from the physical therapy or the chiropractic approach, the structure is very important, because if your spine is not aligned in the right way, it won't allow the nerves to send messages to the organs. So even when looking at it from that perspective, even though it's not from the energetic perspective, but it's more from the neurological perspective and from the biochemistry perspective, because you need the blood to flow and you need the lymphatic system to flow optimally. So if your structure is out of alignment, then you're causing compression either on the nerves or in the veins, etc., or you have the muscles that are getting tight because it's out of alignment and they're constricting the blood, and the blood is not able to flow optimally. So you still see, even when you're looking at it from a physio-chiropractic perspective, the structure is still very, very important. Now, when you look at the cells in the body, or the blood cells in the body, or other cells in the body under a microscope, if there is a nice aura and a nice circular shape around the cell, that means the structure of the cell has a nice circle and there's nice shining light around it, they say that's a healthy cell, right? When you see that it's all wrinkly and it's, no light around it, and they're all, cells are getting stuck together, they call that an unhealthy or a disease cell, right? So even on the level of your molecules and the level of your atoms, what you're finding that the structure is extremely important, right? The structure is extremely important. Even if your biochemistry is good inside your system, but if the structure is not good, then those cells basically mean they're dying off. So the importance of structure here in your cells, you see, comes first. So when we look at, and also in people who are into quantum science or sacred geometry or geometry, some people say sacred geometry and geometry is the same thing. You see, it's all about structures, different shapes, and it's basically all about the structures. And according to quantum physics or quantum science, they say that when you address something on the quantum level, it is far more durable than when you address it on a chemical level. So if you're taking measurements on a quantum level and you put something up based on quantum science, because and if you're familiar with that, you'll see it's all about these beautiful shapes, hexagons, pentagons, and all kinds of stuff. And you'll see that doing those measurements makes it much more stable and lasts longer. So again, because the structure, they're working on structure. So when we're talking about structured water, basically it means that the molecules are arranged in a nice specific structure, versus unstructured water, the molecules are chaotic. So what makes water alive is that it's structured, it's energized, and has supportive information. Well, we can leave out the supportive information for a minute, but structured and energized. So the better structure it has, the more structure it has, the more energized it has, the more alive it is. So in the different parts of the world that have healing water, and some people call it miracle water, well, think about it. According to Siddha science, or the yogic science, your body is made up of 72% of the water element. So if you're drinking water that is highly structured, highly energized, and have supportive information, so what does that mean? That water holds memory. So wherever it comes from whatever that area, it absorbs that memory. And unless you delete the memory out of that water, that the memory is going to stay in there. So if it travels thousands of miles, that water is picking up all the information from there. If it's in rocks that has a lot of good information in those rocks, it's absorbing all that information. So it makes sense that if you're drinking water that has supportive information, so let's say it has information there to rejuvenate, it's highly energized, so it means it has a lot of chi, a lot of prana in there, and it's highly structured. And when something is highly structured, it's easily absorbed into your body all the way to your down to your cells and your molecule levels. Then guess what's happening? It's changing all that information, and 72% of your body is becoming extremely healthy, and it's got a lot of supportive information. So no surprise why people get healed very fast on these healing or miracle waters, right? So when you take tap water, for example, it's chaotic, right? So it's not really getting absorbed so much into your system, right? It gets absorbed and it comes right out because it doesn't go all the way down to the molecular level because it's chaotic, or the cells, the molecules are too big. They haven't split up into smaller parts. It's also not energized, not vibrant. There's not enough energy in it, right? And it doesn't really carry supportive information, right? So in tap water, we know that first of all, it travels all this thousands of miles, goes into people's homes, comes out of people's homes, goes into people's, most of the water that people drink in many areas in the world is called gray water, which is basically recycled water, but it has not removed any of the information. So let's say you're taking pharmaceutical stuff, you go to the bathroom, it comes out of your system, you're washing stuff that has chemicals in it, it goes into the water supply system. So that memory is there, and then you're drinking that water, and then what happens with all that water, that information that it's carrying, it's not supportive to your health and your longevity. It's working in the opposite direction. So when you can override that information, and with structured water you can do that. So you can see why the best water to drink is actually structured water. So when I'm talking about now, when I say structured water, I mean structured, energized, and supportive. It has supportive information, or good, positive or supportive memory inside. So if you're drinking reverse osmosis water or filtered water or distilled water, remember it's removing everything from there, all the minerals and everything on a biochemical level, but it's not really changing anything on the structure. So when people ask me what's the best kind of water to drink or to bathe in, I say structured water or energized water. And then after that, you can do whatever you want. If you want to filter it, you filter it. So if you're living in an area where you really need to filter the water and you feel that that's important to you to filter it, then you add the filter with structuring it. So there are technologies today where you just add the filter, and then on top of that, you add the structuring device, and it's simple, easy. Okay? So what's the best water to consume? Structured water.